What is one thing that you felt from this tip, from the inner voice when you're playing tennis? What useful tip did you learn about it that you feel changed the way you play in a positive way when you learned, okay, I can control my inner voice?
My inner voice was telling me, okay, I'm lazy now. I think it's important that you become conscious about it, because before that I didn't even know there is a voice inside me telling me that I'm tired now. I started to notice that I'm improving, actually. It's one of the greatest tips I received.
Everyone has the inner voice inside of them. The players that are having fun inside the court are usually the players that have the inner voice under control and they have a good relationship with their inner voice. What tip do you have for a beginner that is starting to play tennis for the very first time? What mistakes did you make at the beginning? What things that you did right that you would recommend for a complete beginner so they won't make the same mistakes as you? Hello everyone, it's your host Mazi here from the podcast Mozcast here at the Arctwist Tennis Academy. We will be interviewing with most of the tennis players of the academy. Today we have Laura here. She's one of the players and also the coaches of the Arctwist Tennis Academy. We're gonna talk about some tennis related topics with her and to get her insight on her experience with tennis and the Arctwist Tennis Academy in general. You can listen to the full version of the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. But if you want to watch it with video, you can watch it on YouTube and on Spotify. Without further ado, let's get started. Yes. So, Laura, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you here. Right now, we're sitting in Höre Club in the middle of a tennis court, in the middle of a clay court, which we believe that it's the first ever podcast with the Arctwist Tennis Academy that is being recorded in the middle of a tennis court, but we never know. We'll see in the future. But yeah, we think that it's going to bring a nice and cozy vibe, cozy tennis vibe, basically. We're here to talk about all the ups and downs of tennis and all the experiences that we have through playing the beautiful sport of tennis. And we want to get some different insights. First question for you, Laura. What made you start playing tennis from the very first day? Why did you start playing tennis? Where did you learn? Who told you, Laura, go play some tennis?
So I was 6 when I first held my racket.
Yeah.
And it was not a decision I made on my own. So I just kind of grew up with it because my grandpa was playing tennis and my uncle as well.
Yeah.
So I just started to play because my grandpa played and I started playing in Thailand. So not in Germany actually.
Okay.
But in Thailand.
Nice.
And then I really liked it in Thailand, so I started to play in Germany as well.
Okay, and also for the viewers that don't know you, want to get familiar with you, tell us a very short introduction about your background. Where are you originally from? Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Yeah, just a brief introduction about yourself.
Okay, so I'm half Thai, half German. My dad is from Germany and my mom is from Thailand. But I was born in Germany and also grew up in Germany. But in summer, I would spend 4 weeks in Thailand always. And there was I playing tennis for the first time.
Yeah, okay, very nice. And we'll go back to the experience in playing tennis in Thailand. After we talk a little bit about the tennis topics, we can go more deep into it. Your journey, you grew up here in Dortmund?
Yes, in Dortmund.
So Dortmund is your hometown?
Yes.
Yes, you grew up here. Perfect. And what made you find this tennis court and also the beginning journey of your tennis? Where was the first place that you started playing tennis? And you just continue with the story that you were saying about how you started playing tennis.
Okay, so I started playing here in Germany around 6 or 7. And I started playing at TSC Eintracht in Hamburg.
Next to the stadium?
Yes, exactly.
Next to the Signal Iduna Park,
Yeah. But then we moved, so I played in Berghofen. But then we decided to stop playing in Berghofen and started playing in Hörde. Yes, exactly. As my sister and I wanted to play in tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You were saying, and then you went to another club with your sister.
Yes.
And then afterwards, how did you start playing here in Herde Club?
So we moved from Berghofen to Herde because there was an advertisement from the tennis academy, and my sister already knew Sven as she was going to the Goethe Gymnasium and already had training with him.
Goethe Gymnasium. Gymnasium means school.
School, exactly.
Yeah, for the viewers that don't know, gymnasium means school. Your sister Luisa
Yeah.
got familiar with Sven in the
yes.
school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we decided to play here.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so that was your journey until here. How many years have you been playing tennis all in all?
So I started when I was 6,
Mm.
so around 14 years, but I did a pause.
Yeah.
So I was not playing continuously, but I had, when I was around 10, I had some surgeries
Mm.
with my arm. So I stopped playing for around 2 or 3 years. So
Yeah.
I started playing again when I was 13, 14.
13, 14, okay. So you had a pause and
Yeah,
then you started.
exactly.
Okay, yeah, that's a very common thing that I hear among most of the players here nowadays, that for fortunate or unfortunate reasons, they had to have a pause, but now everyone is happy to be back on the court.
I'm happy to be back.
Yes, that's what matters. We're back and stronger than ever. You're a really good player and
Thank
also
you.
a good coach here in the Archers Tennis Academy. You have a really positive and nice vibe. You and your sister, both of you, make the vibe of the club really nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Laura, next question for you. What tip do you have for a beginner that is starting to play tennis for the very first time? They're thinking about buying a new racket. They're thinking about signing up to a course, booking a trainer, or maybe not booking a trainer. That's also a question that a lot of beginner players ask themselves. Should I book a trainer or should I start learning from YouTube or with myself? And maybe it's too expensive to book a trainer and I can save that money and learn tennis by myself. And it's the very beginning. Try to remember of your own experience when you were first starting. What mistakes did you make at the beginning? What things that you did right that you would recommend for a complete beginner so they won't make the same mistakes as you?
So I think one tip for beginners is to be patient, because tennis is like a sport. It's very hard to get good at. It's not like swimming or running. When you can do it, you can just do it. Because in tennis, every time you play it, it's different. For example, when you play a tournament, every game is different.
Yeah.
Every opponent is different.
Yeah.
And every ball that you play is different. So I think when you start playing tennis, you have to be patient and put a lot of time into it
Yeah.
to get better. And for me, when I started playing it, I was like playing and saying, oh no, I'm just bad at tennis.
Yeah.
But I think that's not the case. You just have to give it, like I said, a lot of time. And it's when you think you will never improve, it's the point where you get better.
Yeah.
And so just put time in it, be patient, and you will get better.
Oh, yeah. That's 100% true. I completely agree with you. One thing that I learned most about tennis is that it's a very patient sport. You have to be very patient with this sport, and
Very.
it's a sport of being patient in every context that we can think about. In match experience, of learning experience, of becoming better, everything is just teaching you how to be a more patient player. Usually where players try to struggle is when they lose their patience or they have
Yes.
a wrong mindset.
Yeah, that's so important. The mindset, your inner voice.
The inner voice. Yeah, the inner voice, referring to the inner game of tennis from, I think, Mr. Galloway. It's an amazing book that teaches you about the two selves that you have, that there's an inner voice inside of you that is always telling you. Do you have any idea about the book?
No, but
No?
you told me about the inner voice.
Yeah,
it
so
was
there's-
like one
yeah.
of the greatest tips I got.
Okay, so let's review it together. What do you remember about the tip from this book?
So you told me your inner voice is like everything. When yourself, your inner voice tells you that you're tired or lazy, your body will work accordingly.
Yeah.
So it's important that you always don't matter where you play, like in tournaments or at training, that you're positive
Yeah.
about how you play, that you tell yourself that you can do it,
Mhm.
and just be confident. And after, even though you miss a point, that you still say, I can do it.
I can do it. And who is saying I can do it? It's the inner voice in yourself. So the inner voice usually in players starts to speak with you to tell you either positive stuff or negative stuff. And that's completely up to you, that you train your inner voice to speak to you in a positive way or in a negative way. Everyone has the inner voice inside of them. Sometimes we say the inner bitch or we say the inner enemy, the inner voice. The players that are having fun inside the court are usually the players that have the inner voice under control and they have a good relationship with their inner voice. They've taught the inner voice that when I lose a point, I'm not gonna let negative thoughts come inside of my head. I'm gonna go to my routine and focus on pumping myself up, giving only positivity towards myself, and focusing on the next point. And that's the main thing about the inner voice. Yeah, it's because it could take you either up or it could take you crashing down. It's completely up to you. What is one thing that you felt from this tip, from the inner voice when you're playing tennis? What useful tip did you learn about it that you feel changed the way you play in a positive way when you learned, okay, I can control my inner voice? Do you remember, for example, the training session that you were being tired?
Yes,
and you,
I remember
and you were not
it.
moving? And I was saying that tell your inner voice that you're not tired, and tell the inner voice that it should stop telling you that you're tired and start keeping it quiet and imagining positivity.
So it was a session I had with Mazi,
Yeah.
and I was feeling tired, and my inner voice was telling me, okay, I'm lazy now. But then Mazi told me about the inner voice, and I think it's important that you become conscious about it, because before that I didn't even know there is a voice inside me telling me that I'm tired now.
Yeah.
But if you know that there is a voice, it becomes easier for you to control it. So I started to, every time something inside my head popped, like, okay, I'm tired now, I'm telling myself you have to shut down.
Yeah.
And it's actually
You have to shut up.
Shut up.
You have to shut up, the inner voice.
Yeah, your inner voice have to shut up.
Yeah.
And every time I was telling that myself, I started to notice that I'm improving, actually. Because my footwork, if I say like, okay, my footwork has to improve now, it really does. So it's one of the greatest tips I received.
Nice. I'm very happy to hear that. That's completely true. As you said, you learn to control your emotions and make the inner voice shut up. You can play much better tennis and you can enjoy it much more. That's a very important tip for a lot of players that they need to know. So, yeah.
Yeah, also when you're in a tournament, it's
Especially when you're in a tournament. It's-
helping a lot.
Yeah, especially in the tournament, the demon comes out. The demon comes out and starts
nerves.
talking, the nerves, starts talking all kind of garbage to say, yeah, you've never played tennis before. What is this? You should quit tennis. I hate playing tennis. This is the inner voice that is taking over. But if you tell it to shut up and give yourself positivity, you're instantly going to see the difference. Yeah.